Oh man, I can't wait to open this. Let's get started. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a very special day. I've been waiting on this day for about 3 weeks. If you've been watching my previous videos, I've teased this day and this box. If you haven't been following the channel, I highly suggest you go down below, click the subscribe button, click the little bell off to the right so you don't miss any of the videos coming up. It helps me out a lot. Give me a thumbs up on the video. The comments, keep them coming in. It helps the channel grow, and hopefully I can keep bringing you some more of this great stuff right here, like what I've got for you today. Also, I'm all about trying to save people money. I'm a really cheap guy. Everybody knows that. I'm always looking for a way to get better prices on golf clothes, golf equipment, golf tee times, golf balls, you name it. I'm always looking for a way to save a buck and make this game not nearly as expensive as it seems to be. Now, in this box it's actually 2 items, and I'll tell you all about the deal that I got on it. I'm really proud of this deal. I'm really proud of it. I think I made a good purchase, but only until I open this box and see the contents and verify that it is what I think it is and that it's in the condition that I think it's in. Am I going to be able to make the final determination, did I make a good purchase or not? Before I get started, I just want to say this, that in trying to save money, in trying to make golf a little bit more affordable and not make our hobbies empty our pockets, and my pockets aren't that deep anyway, so there's not a whole lot to turn out. But in an effort to do that, I've mentioned several different things. I've talked about, Golf Now. Golf Now is a great way to save money. I don't get paid anything from Golf Now. That's just my personal opinion. Also, golfballnut.com. I get paid nothing from golfballnut.com. Again, I have no affiliation with them, but I buy used golf balls from them all the time. I never heard Tiger Woods or Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy blame a bad shot on a logo smudge. Another way that I go about saving cash is on clothing. For instance, I've mentioned the Ben Hogan Golf Company. You can get shirts for anywhere between, like $9 and $10 up to, say, $16 to $18. And pants you can find for anywhere between $16 and $22, I believe. The biggie, talking about golf equipment. Everybody knows that these companies, all these big companies, they come out with about 117 new drivers every single year, and they all cost about $500 to $600 a piece. It just gets crazy. So really, until your driver gets about 5 years old, you shouldn't even be thinking about getting a new driver. But if your driver is over 5 years old, chances are you're missing out on a little bit of the latest tech that's come out that may be able to help you with some consistency, as maybe some forgiveness, or maybe some distance. If you were patient and if you waited, you could get those exact same clubs a few years later for far cheaper. In the used club market, you can find some supreme deals, especially at the right time of year when new clubs have come out and everybody's rushing out and they've got to have the latest and greatest thing. You can then purge the used market and leverage that to help your golf bag and improve your game and get some new toys in the process. That's what I've got here. 2 new toys, me anyway, that I'm going to open up and show you right now. When you're waiting on a package like this and you get it, my brain always tends to think about the journey that it took to get here. It's been in 27 different trucks or airplanes or cargo ships or wherever it came from to get here. This thing ended up on the bottom of a pile of a bunch of heavy boxes and gets smashed and slammed around in a truck on its way here. Is it going to be in good shape? Is it going to be broken? I can already tell you, it's good to see bubble wrap. Make sure, it's not broken. It's not broken. So this is the most important piece. This is why I really bought this. But when I tell you about this deal at the end of this, you're going to be so impressed. If I was James Robinson right now, and I was doing this unboxing, I would act like this was the greatest discovery that mankind has ever made in this box. Oh my God, the thumbnail would be epic. It would look something like this. I would tell you that you're going to be completely amazed. And this is going to be the most incredible thing you've ever seen in this box. You have to watch the video. Please click on the video. However, since I'm not James Robinson, what I'm going to tell you is I made a pretty good purchase here, I believe, and I think that this was a really good deal. Is it going to help my golf game? We'll find out. But I've got a couple of points to make as to why I think it may. Okay, are you ready? The Gen 1, the first rendition from 2016 M2 driver. Now this driver is a 10.5 degree. It comes with a Pro Force V2 stiff shaft, 66 grams butt stiffness. The grip on this is not the best. I'm going to need to regrip this. This feels slick. It's just a pretty standard, looks like a Tour Velvet. You can see the sheen on it and tell that it's going to be a little slick. So it's been well used. This is the 10.5 degree M2. As you can see, there are some scuff marks sort of along this leading edge out here, probably where it's drug along the grass or a mat. But other than that, it looks pretty intact. Now, before I go any further with the top of this driver, I want to show you something else here. So let's get into the next item that's in the box. The matching M2 3-wood. Now again, you can see some scuffing along the bottom of this, especially along the leading edge where the paint's worn off, and then some drag along here as well. But as far as the actual metal on the bottom of this club, it's not dented, it's not dinged, it's not scratched. It's just where the paint has just been kind of pulled away. But it's a 15 degree, as you can see. There's a few kind of cowboy marks on the top of this. Hold it up there and let you see that. These went still most of the time for around $100. I saw them as expensive as $150, but I saw them, in this kind of condition for about $100. And then the driver, this driver was going for $200 to $250. Why is this one still so expensive? And I did some research. So my current driver is an RBZ. It's an original. It doesn't have the adjustability to it. It's like the Stage 1, the original RBZ. I decided at one point to change out the shaft in that driver because I had heard a lot of people talking about going with a shorter driver shaft to increase your accuracy and make it easier to hit the center of the face more often than not and make your mishits a little bit less severe. And in doing so, you may actually gain a little bit of distance. Well, in my experience, I did not really find that to be the case. And I think that it was probably because, I'm not really mishitting the driver way out on the toe or way on the heel or way out of the bottom or anything that often anyway. I don't feel like I have a lot of issues with that. So all it really did for me when I cut 2 inches off of the length, I cut it from 45.5 down to 43.5. The only thing I found is that I just kind of lost distance. So this may or may not make a big difference, but I figured it was worth a shot and it's time to upgrade anyway. Now this driver was made in 2016. That jumps me forward a good 4 to 5 years and brings me a lot closer to now. Also, I get the standard length shaft. So this is a 45 3/4 inch, whereas the other one's a 43.5, making a difference of 2 1/4 inches added back onto this driver. So it may take me a little bit to get used to it, seeing as how I've been swinging a shorter driver for well over, going on about a year now. Now the M2, as opposed to the M1 has sliders that you could adjust the weights in, and the M2 has one fixed weight on the back side. Now the reason that I chose this driver is because I watched a ton of YouTube golfers that had access to things like GC Quad or TrackMan, or they just knew what they were talking about. So the people that I watched some Rick Shields, I watched some Sass Golf, I watched some Mark Crossfield, I watched Peter Finch, and I watched Micah Morris from the Good crew. Now Micah Morris went out and tried a bunch of different drivers, the new stuff that was supposed to be so much better than the M2, and at the end of the day, he went back and found somebody selling an M2 with the shaft and everything that he needed in it, and he went and picked it up, and it's been what he's gaming the whole time. Now Micah is a really skilled golfer. He's a great player. He's got huge distance. He's actually been working with Kyle Berkshire some to increase that distance, and he hits his clubs a country mile. He loves the M2. Rick Shields has gone back and done 5-year tests on TaylorMade drivers. He's checked them all out on GC Quad, given them the full Rick Shields test, and again comes back and says, hey, the M2. So in all of those opinions from all of those people who are better golfers than me, who have more equipment than I have, and have better knowledge of clubs and shafts and what's on the market and what's good, they've all come back and talked about how stable, how how solid, how forgiving, how consistent, and how powerful this M2 from 2016 actually is. Now, here was the supreme deal that I got on these two clubs. Originally, I was looking at a TaylorMade M2 2016 Generation 1 with a stiff shaft, and I was seeing prices of $200 to $250. I did find some that were down in the $150 to $160 range, and some around the $175 range. However, with those, they looked like they were even worse for wear than this one. This one looked like it was in pretty decent condition. Now, originally, the price on this was about $185. I talked to the guy who was selling it. I got him down to $150. I thought that was a good enough deal as it was. However, that 3-wood right there came with it. I got this driver and that 3-wood, which typically would be somewhere in the $350 to $375 total money range, for $150. You can clap now. Go ahead. In any event, I'll be taking these suckers out to the range, out to the golf course, putting them through their paces, and the real thing I want to see is not in the beginning so much. In the beginning, when you're playing with it and you're testing it out, there's going to be some growing pains. I'm going to have to get used to it. Any new club you're going to have to get used to. But what I really want to test out and see is over the coming weeks and months, do I increase my distances? Do I actually have more forgiveness and hit more fairways? Do I gain a little bit of distance because of the additional length?
I'm going to try and really simplify this driver swing. Wow. That is simply phenomenal for me.
Guys, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Be sure to leave me a thumbs up down below. Give me some comments. What do you think the best driver in the last 10 years is? What do you think of my purchase? Was it a good deal? Would you have taken the risk to save that much money? Or would you have just spent 3 times as much to be able to get these two great clubs? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.